the left.
Yeah, you want me to adjust?
Yeah, on the left.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, that's good. I think once we minimize this, it will be better, right? All right, thank you. Hey, I think I saw, another name, Sarita. You're on the phone, right? Maybe, yeah, I think I saw you also on mute, so. Hey, Sarita, you there? I thought I was connected.
Hello?
Hey, yeah, okay. No, I just wanted to make sure you are able to hear me.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, so in this, session that we are in,
Yeah.
we have, two folks. They'll introduce themselves, and then I'll first introduce myself, and then, between the three of us, we could, introduce each of us, and then, I can give you then an overview what exactly, if you choose to do this course, what is the way that we would be proceeding forward, okay?
Yeah.
All right, and before I say something, I just wanted to make sure, it's audible for you all. It's audible to you, right?
Yeah, for me, yeah, it's clear. No problem.
Okay, cool, good. All right, so my name is Joel, and I've been into this HCM practice past 10 to 11 years. And my forte basically in the HCM field is I've been dealing more with implementations and post-production support. So what that means is, in a very simple term is we go to the client. A client would say, hey, you know what, I'm going to install, I'm going to, implement the HR module in SAP. And so what I would do is, I would go to the client, get the requirements. So that's called the as is phase. So what is, what is as is, it is what it is in the system. You would, get the all whatever is there. And then, I would bring it back in-house. We would have a panel of team where we would discuss, how we could, tailor the solution. And then we say that's called the to-be phase. Okay, so from as is, you would do some conversion, put it into a to-be phase. Okay, that's practically what I've been doing all through now. And besides that, we also, when in this the whole thing what you do, there not be for everything what I say, the client may not say, that's a good thing, that's a good thing, right? So there would be sometimes, essentially not proper handshakes between me and the client. So then, we would say that as a fit, no, it's a gap, right? It's a gap before the client and myself. Then what we would do is, we'll try to fit the gap. So this methodology is called, a fit gap analysis, okay? So what basically we would do is, we'll go look what the client has been telling. We'll try to see if we could fit in our solution. If we cannot, then we'll put it as a gap. We'll work together to make a fit gap analysis and, provide a solution. So that's what I've been doing all through right now. More into implementations, implementing the module, and then we give it to post-production team. Right now, I've been traveling a lot, so I've taken a breather with it. And now what I've been doing is, I've gone into the area of, post-production support. That's the very little about me, what I've been doing and, what I've dealt with in the HR industry. And so you normally don't call right now as a HR, you call it as a HCM. It's a human capital management because it's not only one spectrum it deals with, it's going to deal with a lot of spectrum. And what essentially I've seen in the practices, not everyone, one person, it would be very tough for one person to, learn all the modules, okay, because that's why it's called a HCM, so it'll be very difficult. What you would do then is, you would choose a specific module of yourself, learn about it, and, as I always say, my friends and folks and everything, I've been also in the same space 12 years before. I was also in the same, like a classroom, trying to learn SAP, and I've known is, you get only success because you have the, alphabet U. So it's you who have to contribute. You have to learn more. You have to research. It's practically in any company, it's more, functionally what you know and how you put that functional whatever you know into the system. Okay. So that's where it is. I will now take a stop so that then talking too much and, making you all scared. I will pass on, we'll start from this room. Folks are going to talk their name and, what they've been doing. And then after that, Sarita, you can also, introduce yourself. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, I mean, any questions for me, or we good with the introduction?
Basically, yeah, I have one question.
Uh-huh.
The thing is, maybe it's evolving into, everything is into cloud nowadays. Like we have this success factors or whatever in SAP.
Uh-huh.
So is it, I mean, do we get to learn that also in this class?
Well, so what I will be more focused will be, so that, I mean, I'm just telling you, right now there is, the market is divided into two, basically, where you call on-premise, where, you are doing it inside the system, okay? And the other factor is where you call it as, cloud computing technology. Now, the cloud is basically, like in SAP world, it's called as one is, in the terms of HR space, they call it as Employee Central, and the payroll, the process is called the Employee Central Payroll, okay? Now, to answer your question, we will start with the on-premise, and, it'll be later to the stage, you will be introduced into, the Employee Central or the cloud factors, okay? But I mean, I wouldn't essentially be doing the cloud factor because, I'm more of an on-premise person. And the good thing is, whether you are in the cloud or not in the cloud, it's just the look and feel that is outside, more cloud. But whatever is going, beneath is always going to be on-premise. So if you know more on-premise, that's going to be a bigger breather for you to, step up yourself to a cloud technology. Okay, no?
Yeah.
All right, so I will now, ask the folks here to introduce themselves, and we'll get it on the ride, okay?
Hi, my name is Uma Sailesh, and I've got 10 years of around HR functional background. So I've had HR functional knowledge, more of recruitment, compensation, benefits, payroll, employee relations. And now I'm looking to kind of re-enter the workforce after taking a brief break. So I thought SAP HR would be ideal, given my HR background, to position myself. So I'm here to join this group.
Okay, good. And yourself?
Hello, my name is Haley Thakkar. I just graduated from MBA HR, and I'm looking for jobs, so I thought that HR would then added advantage to that. So that's all.
Right. So we have two folks. One is Uma and the
Haley.
Heidi or Haley?
Haley.
Haley. Okay. Haley, and you can introduce yourself now.
Yeah, hi. I am Sarita. I have some experience as an end user in some companies like, Tata Motors, and I worked in manufacturing companies as HR. So I had a 5 years break due to my visa and all. So now I want to get back into HR since I have just some exposure, like what it means, implementing and all, some basic knowledge I have since I was there, yeah, during the implementation processes. And I want to make use of like whatever I know and get back into SAP field.
Okay, good. Okay, so then, I'll go through these slides. They're pretty like 10 slides, but any point of time, if you have to ask a question, feel free, or if you feel bored, let me ask, hey, we got to stop it, and, we'll take a break and then move on. Okay, so this session is essentially till 3:30, an hour session. And then, if you have any questions, you can pause it on the spot and ask me. I'll try to help as much as I can. Okay. So basically, all right. So I'm sure you would be knowing what SAP is and ERPs and all that, right? Where ERP, before ERP, it was MRP because it was more manufacturing related. The applications and all that, but it was very decentralized. A system in India would have, only everything that's related to India. A system that is in, say, China would know only that's related in China, or if it is in Australia, so it's more decentralized. Now, and what that happened then in that factor was, people or the companies are not able to make good use of it because it was not centralized. So then what they did is, they started to put their brains and they came up with, hey, let's not do anymore the MRP way, let's do it ERP. So that's where you say enterprise resource planning, where basically you would have a common central server database, and you can pool, other countries' information into this one single server database. Okay, so a person who is in China can essentially, if he has or she has the proper authorization, they would be able to see, say if it is about a stock. I mean, I'm not talking about the real stock, like the goods, say if there is surplus or if there is little less, if they want to know the count, someone in China can actually, because it's a common database, they could, look into it. So that's how, this ERP had come up. And the good thing with ERP is, because it is more centralized, people are able to, invest in one big server database and access through it. So it is improving the efficiency, as well as, it is improving, the workforce, what they do it. Okay, and the other good example in the HR space would be, say I want someone, I have a position open up. So, rather than you have an option where you could open up the internal the position or the posting, or you could also do it outside, right? So you can have that set up, internally, so it's available to everyone, and they can, juggle the resource wherever they want. Okay, so that's more advantageous why this ERP business came. There are a lot of ERP packages. I'm sure, you would have known PeopleSoft is an ERP package. SAP is a ERP package. JD Edwards is a ERP package. Baan is an ERP package. Oracle itself has its own, ERP package. So these are all the different ERP packages. Now, what has also happened apart from this ERP, in this late past 2-3 years, they've moved into a better, not a better, but a bigger role, which is called, your cloud technologies, where you have a cloud-based server and you can access, and also because many things are evolving through web, you can do online shopping, online everything, right? So more things are spreaded into the cloud technologies, and that's where you have your cloud-based ERP systems, and I think most of the systems are. SAP has its own partner with as a cloud for the HR space, which is called SuccessFactor. Oracle, no, not Oracle, PeopleSoft, people who have used to work there, what they have done is, they have grouped themselves apart from this PeopleSoft, and they've started another platform which is called the Workday. So Workday is another, cloud-based HR space, if you could say so. So these are some of the, basically the popular, I should say, your, cloud-based technologies right now you use. And believe me, for any of these, applications, you could use a lot of, cloud-based technology. Like I know for time, you can use SAP as for time, or you can also use Kronos. Now Kronos is also in cloud, so it's called Kronos in cloud. Or there's so many softwares, whichever they are really looking into, they get into these, and it's more. But whatever it is, whether it is cloud or any other new technology that come, at least I can say, because I just went for the HR 2016 last week. So the roadmap is, the backend to support will still be the on-premise. That's going to support it, and then the look and feel and the processing, and like an end user will be more into the cloud. So it's your decision to choose whether you want to be a back-end person, or you want to be a front-end person as an end user processing things. Where the money flows, it's in the back-end. Where where you get more reputation and more you're known much, it could be in the end user side. But where really money is, it's in the end user. All right, so I'm going to give a minute break, and I'm going to ask ask any questions for me.
I have a question. You mentioned both SuccessFactor and Workday cloud technology. Right. So SAP HR reporting could still be done using this, right?
Yes.
Integrated as a part of SuccessFactor.
Yep.
So regardless of what ERP system you have, the SAP HCM module is flexible,
yep,
and you could use that.
Okay. So basically, the question from Uma was, we call all the SuccessFactor and all those technologies, but you have this on-premise HR, and in case if you want to report it, right? That was your question. Can we integrate the on-premise with the cloud? That was the question, and the answer is yes. Be it within the module. Now let me tell you something. For SAP, between ERP SAP and the cloud SAP SuccessFactor, they both integrate. Okay, it's a one-to-one, and they have their own connectors which would integrate. And what you would essentially be doing is mapping. So your name, first name, okay, would map to some field in the R3, or your last name would map to something else. So your address, your first line of the address, your city, zip code, all that, would be. Or, you have a job posting, the date of the posting, what is the posting, and each of the phases of the posting, all that, okay? So that was one question. Haley, do you have any question for me? No? Am I overburdening you? No?
Like actually I don't have experience a lot.
Okay.
I have no experience with SAP, so I'm like right now I won't be having any questions. Still I
get into it. Okay.
Working.
Okay.
Right now I'm not getting a lot of things, but I hope I will be getting it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. And Sarita, any other question for me?
No, nothing.
Okay. So basically, as you can see in the screen, SAP by definition is called System Application products and data processing. Okay, that's the terminology for SAP. And this technology of SAP uh, was introduced in Germany. So, Germany is I should say it's the founder, but that was where, it started evolving. And now I'll also give a very small history, how it came to US. So it's very hot here, right? Don't you feel so? Or maybe because I'm talking and sweating. Okay. Huh? You good? Okay. So, what happened is, American Airlines, right? I'm sure, one time, anytime we would have flown in that. So American Airlines, they have their headquarters in, Dallas. Okay. Uh, so what was happening was, they needed, because they have a lot of employees working for them. What they needed is, they wanted a centralized system to carry out their operations. Okay. So they gave a bid to SAP. That's where, SAP started to steam and say, okay, let's make a presence in US. So from there, SAP started to, implement for American Airlines. Once it got, successful and all that, they thought, hey, I just did it for one company. The same software can be repetitively used for many companies, and they rolled it out, okay? Now what happens is, and the good thing is, so that's how SAP came into the market. And with the SAP, it'll be like this, each time, there will be something called patches. What these patches are like, your Windows, you would have a lot of patches. Then you would have SAP is connected to third-party vendors interfaces. Like I'll give a good example is for your taxes. SAP doesn't do in-house tax calculation. They interface it with, BSI. That's a company in Atlanta. Okay. Now SAP may not really, you may not really have your HR database as SAP. You could have it as Workday. Okay. So there is a connector which is called the PICOF, P-I-C-O-F. So that connects, that's the mapping connector which connects from Workday and dumps the data into, SAP. So that's how, this SAP came into the market. What has been good with SAP is on and on, so SAP has a technical side. SAP has a functional side. Functional side is where you tailor make so many things to the company. Technical side is, you would code and code and code. Okay. But, it essentially may not be that, everyone is too good in coding. So the flexibility still remains in the system where you can design certain things functionally. You can design what is not in the scope of, doing it functional, you could do it technically. And that's where you call ABAP, okay? It's the programming language. You don't have to worry about it because, we won't be doing any ABAP. We'll be only doing functionally how the system performs, okay? Functionally, how to get how to go and get the requirement from any client, or be it, if you are in the application support team or the post-production team, how you get the requirement and, how you would build it so an end user can use it. Okay, that'll be more of, what we do. We are the backside people. We would, to some extent, we will communicate with the client. We would be, taking the requirement, but more it'll be the end users, who will be telling us, hey, this is the requirement. This is what we need to do. This is how we need to do. Okay. All right. So going to the, next slide. This is where I've been telling where all this ERP, okay, what we've been talking, how does it all integrate into? So say this is your, say it's our SAP, let's take SAP for ERP. ERP, the whole package suite, the HCM suite, can integrate with personnel management. I'll tell you what personnel management is. It could, integrate with time and travel management. A good example of your travel management is Concur, like, most companies use that when they want to, from your company, you want to fly to, say, Chicago or Illinois, you could use Concur. Actually, Concur has been brought over by SAP now. So, yeah, then you have your payroll, which little been telling about it. Payroll, I mean, the backend is always going to be R3 on-premise, and then you would have the payroll run in the in the cloud, which they call it as ECP. It's called the Employee Central Payroll. Okay. Time management. This is where you would, if it's an hourly employee, they clock in the time, what time they started, what time they went for lunch break, then what time they came back from lunch break, what time are they going, for the end of the day. So that's clock in, clock outs, clock in, clock outs. Okay. There are so many applications you could use for time management. Kronos is a good example. ADP has its own called e-time, electronic time. And the beauty is, the time has, it's been developed so much. Earlier, you got to go, and there'll be a centralized kiosk where you would enter it. Now, you could actually enter time using your iPad or your cell phones, whatever it is. Okay, so that's more better now. Organizational management, you could integrate it into that. So where you would say, okay, this person, he's been hired to this position. His job is going to be ABCD, and he is going to be reporting to this person. And then, you could also configure, this guy, he's going to be into this cost center. All his charges are going to be, booked into this cost center. So that's where you call the organization management. Personal development, I'm sure you would know what by it is. Every year, every company would keep having their own appraisals. So with the appraisals, they'll tell you, okay, 6 months, these are the targets. You got to do all these things, and then, if you do it, you'll get a bonus. If you don't do it, we'll think about it later. So that's the personal development. Information systems is more into reporting. There are so many reporting tools, BI, BW, HANA, all these things. They're pretty good, strong. And, you could integrate into the HCM suite, and you could actually, get reports. SAP has its own reporting capability, or if you don't, if SAP functionally you cannot create a report, you still can make avail, the development, the ABAP side, they can build custom reports. But these are very pretty, common requirements that would come from the client. And so basically what I was telling all this is, so SAP essentially, it would integrate with the internet where you call it as your employee self-service. You can, give a good example is, I'm hired to a company. Companies allow you to, so 6 months I was in New Jersey. I moved from New Jersey, now I'm in somewhere other place. So you can go change the address, the permanent resident address, by yourself. You don't need to, send an email and say, hey, I've moved from this place to this place. You could go and do it yourself. That's called it. That is one of the availability of employee self-service. Other examples, you moved from New Jersey, now where did you want to move? Atlanta. Okay. So because Haley moved from New Jersey to Atlanta, her residence tax is going to be, you got to appropriately withhold the taxes for Georgia, right? And you're going to work in Georgia, so your work tax is going to be Georgia. 5 months later, or 6 months later, or 10 months later, you keep adding your family, then you can claim more exemptions, right? So your marital status or filing status could be initially single, then it would be married or whatever. So these things, you really don't have to go send a ticket and do it. You could actually do it online. It's called the employee self-service. That's portal based. Okay, I'm going to give a stop again. I'm going to ask any questions. No? Haley is happy because she's going to Atlanta, so I can at least understand that. Yeah. Sarita, any questions for me? Are you on mute? Oh. Hey, you there? No?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
think, hello?
Hi, huh?
Yeah, no questions actually.
Okay, cool. Any questions from your side? No. Okay, cool. So that's called your employee self-service. You have your financials, okay? Very important, right? Whatever dollars we make, whatever dollar we spend, we always have to have an accounting, right? So that's where it integrates to finance. SAP has its own HCM suite for finance called the finance SAP Financials. So exactly. Yeah, and what you do is, as a HR person, you wouldn't be knowing all the finance and cost accounting, but what you would do is, you run a payroll for an employee, he would have his salary. So salary is, it's a expense to the company, right? But it is good for us. It's going to our bank, right? So, those expense would need to be booked to our company some accounts, right? Or this person is in this cost center. So, maybe he worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in this facility. So coming back to Haley's example, Haley was working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Atlanta. You got a promotion, you got to work Friday, say maybe in which other state do you like? Illinois.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Uma came from Illinois, so we'll take, Illinois. So from Atlanta, Friday, she's going to work in Illinois for a day. So you're not going to book all the expenses to the cost center in Georgia, right? You want to book the one day of what you worked in Illinois, right? So you can, do all those things through this. That's how, it integrates into finance. Okay. Now, where have you been, Sarita? You been in all through in New Jersey or?
Yeah, for a brief period I was in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, just New Jersey and Virginia, that's all.
Okay. Are you following the elections? No? You are? Okay. Little bit. Are you following?
Yeah, we are following.
Okay, good. I think all of us are following. Okay.
Not to follow.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where it goes into, your finance. Uh, Logistics, it's basically what they say is, if you need employees or if you need, you have a new position open up, that's where you kick in all these logistics. Office, your time stuff, payroll stuff, because it's more on-premise, you got to click the button, the payroll will start to process, you got to click the button, so then, it'll save the time entry for you. Like, you could be exempt, non-exempt, hourly, salaried, you may work 50 hours, but they don't give you overtime, then you will be feeling bad, right? But you are a salaried non-exempt, then they will be telling, oh, you work extra 10 hours, we'll give you overtime, right? So those type of things, more into the payroll side. Personal management, did I talk about personal management? No, right? I think I spoke about payroll, I spoke about this is okay. I'll talk a little about payroll and the benefits, but personal management is like, you put your job request in the websites, right? Okay, so I'm going to ask you, give me some good websites that has job requirement. Which site do you use for any job that you want to search?
Indeed, Monsters.
Indeed. Okay. What about you, Sarita?
Yeah, same thing, Indeed, Dice, Monster.
Okay. Do you both phone each other and say?
We are the only things, famous on the net, so I don't know
Okay.
much.
How about you? Have you emailed her? Same? No? Okay, good. Okay. It seems you three are of the same feather flock now. A common wave is going on. Good. All right. So how about you? You also do same?
Same as Career Builder.
Okay.
Show.
Okay. Okay. I've used Naukri.com.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. Well, that's from when we were in India. Yeah. 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 All right. So, so the company says, hey, I have a job requirement. and Sarita is going to look into Indeed, Career, what is the other word? Monster, Dice, right? Yeah. And then you apply for the job. Haley also applied to the same job. Uma also applied to the same job, okay? Now what's going to happen is, let's take I be the interviewer for you, only for now, okay? And so what's going to happen is I'll interview you. Between the three, I will say, okay, one person is going to get the job, okay? And then what I would do is I would send a note, I'll do my interview, I'll send my feedback, right? I'll send my feedback and say, hey, this person did these are the things. Normally, if ever you have got to interview someone, like what I normally do is, any candidate I interview, we would normally give 5 good, strength, 3 or 4 weak points. So in that way, it is more good to present it to the candidate too. So it could be a good practice that you could also use. So basically, now everything that's happening is you are hiring an employee. So the employee is hired. First day she comes in or he comes in. Now what's going to happen is this has all been verbal, right, or emails, right, but nothing is in the system. So what personal management does is he will take you, the physical person you, put it into the system. It'll take, this is the hiring date, okay? Then it's going to tell you this is the base salary, okay? There are some very good companies who would say, I will give you stock options. There are some bad companies we will say, unless you work 15 years for me, I am not going to give you this, eligibility. So these type of things, where you say you hire the employee, there are so many actions. So hiring is an action. Sorry, hello? Okay, I thought I heard myself, right? Now? Yeah. Okay, so that's a personal management action, okay? You hire an employee. Now 5 months later, 6 months later, the employee has been too good. Now I think, he can move from payroll. Maybe he can also work in finance. What I would do then, I'm going to take that employee, I'm going to transfer the employee from, this particular division to another division. So normally within the organization, you would say it's a organizational transfer. So that's another personal management action. Okay. Anything, you manage about a personal employee, it's called personal management, and that's driven something called actions. So actions are the driving factor. Okay. Now, you're too good, 5 years later, the company felt Haley is too good and we want to send her back to India to, to head of the operations. So then what you would do is, you would do a country transfer. Like, the Pepsi's CEO, she's an Indian, right? She was good. She was in US and all that. Now what they did is, 3-4 years before, they put her back to, Asia Pacific, right? So they did a cross-country transfer. Okay. You good, Sarita, so far?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So that's how it is, So you could do an organizational transfer, a cross-country transfer, and there are some other things, when we come from India, we call here as expats, right? But once we go from here, but in Indian terms, we'll be an expat, right? So certain taxations are there, liabilities are there, those things, we'll learn, we will, put into effect so that from a tax perspective, you can be good, all right? So far good? Promising? No promising?
My question is, what about benefits?
Yeah, I'm going to come to that. Yeah, I just finished that. I'll come to benefits also. All right? So far good? Okay, I'm going to take it as good, okay? Now, in payroll is all about dollars, right? And that's what we live for, right? To make money. That's it. Anyone else? Say that the answer. We only live, we work to make money. And that's our goal. Ultimate goal is only to make money. Okay? But beyond that, what's going to happen also is we need to be taken care for our medical, right? We need to be taken care for our vision, right? We need to be taken care for our dental, right? We need to have certain insurances, right? So those parts, the payroll is all about earnings, what comes to my pocket, what I give away from my pocket, deductions, right? And then what I owe. Now there are two types of deductions, voluntarily, involuntary deductions, okay? Voluntary is medical I have to pay, right? No company is going to be so good and tell, don't worry, I'll pay for your benefits. No, right? We have to pay. Then, but there is an employer cost to it, right? If you go to a, if you take your kid to a doctor, there's a copay, right? That's an employee cost. But beyond that, if you go and look at your, that card that you get, there'll be an employer, return to. They'll also pay the cost for you. So that's all going to be in this benefit. Now companies will say, hey, what I'll do is, in order to help you save and have a good retirement, we will contribute to something called what? Your qualified plan, which is like your 401k, retirement plan. Okay? Now the advantage is what? When you keep contributing to it, there is a portion employee will contribute, there's a portion employer will contribute. So you contributed 200, they contributed 200. Oh, one day you get 400, right? Which is good. And the beauty is, these are all pre-taxed. For now, it is pre-taxed. When you go later, I think it's 65. When you want to take the money, you pay. It's not tax-free. You have to pay. Okay. The other good deduction is, like I work in Philly, so I take this NJ Transit and go and come. So I get, a Metro Park. No, Metro Park is where I get in from, but I have to park my car, so there is a parking pass. Now the government has been good. They're telling, okay, up to $210, we'll make it pre-tax. So the advantage is, say $1,000 was your salary. This 210, it goes into, your pre-tax bucket. So for $1,000, if, for example, if your taxes was, say, 25%, you would have ended up paying $250 as your tax, right? Now, what the advantage of this pre-tax is, 1,000, now you have pre-tax, say, $200. 800 is only now the taxable amount, right? And for this 800, if you have to pay a 25% tax, how much would you pay? 800 is 25%, which is $200, right? What did you save? The $50, right? Now, if for $1,000 you paid 25%, you would have ended up paying $250. But because of this, you pay only $200. Are you not happy?
Yes.
I'm happy, right?
Obviously.
Obviously, yeah. See, now people are happy. Okay, so this is all, what the benefit comes. Some companies will say, okay, you're a very big payable guy. You have an IRS limit. You can only contribute in a year. There's a pre-tax, limit. Say you can contribute 21,000, or say 17,000, or 18,000. I think it's 18,000 for this year. Okay, you contribute 18,000. IRS says stop it. You can contribute after tax. But some companies are so good, they will say, okay, in another form, we will allow you to again contribute. They are called deferred compensation, right? So besides of 18,000, you can contribute more. Are you not more happy? You're very happy now, right? Okay. You're only happy when it comes to my account, right? Yeah. Now the other side, and U.S. government has been a little flexible, as there's something called a catch-up, right? So if you are at the age of 50, what the government has done is, this 18,000 is the pre-tax limit, right? They allow you to contribute another 5,000 or 6,000 more to this, pre-tax bucket. So they're called your pre-tax, they're called your catch-up. So in addition to regular, you can catch up little more money and put. So sometimes, company will allow you to do, company may allow as employer also, contributing to it. Some companies say, hey, I've been doing till now, say for the 6,000, why don't you worry about it yourself? All right. Okay. So any questions here? But am I going too fast, slow, boring?
No.
Okay. And I've already told all this. Personal administration, what do? We are going to learn how to hire people. If the person is so bad, what will we do? Exactly. We will terminate him, right? And if it is like Trump, what we'll say? You're fired, right? So that's another way of, a lot of people have gone up to like 70 years. They're thinking, no, I don't want to work anymore. What then would we do? Retire, right? All right. And then you keep on working. You have a transfer. That's called your organizational transfer. 5 months later, I found out Sarita was very good in what she did. I gave her 10 assignments. All the 10 she did good. What I will do then? Maybe I may give her a promotion, right? So that's another action, right? And I found Uma also was good and she was doing great. What can I do then? I can give her a higher salary increment, right? That's another action, correct? Or if the company found I was not doing good at all myself and I was just, first day they will smile and tell me, hey, Joel, you got to do well. Second 1 week they will look, then they still find, not doing good. What will they do? They'll put me into a probation period, right? They'll look me for 14 to 20 days. They will look if I'm doing good. Now, if I'm not still doing good, what will they do? They will either do a demotion, right? They could say, hey, you're not qualified to this, but I understand, you have your family problems, kids problem, this problem. We'll be a little nice to you. We'll give you a demotion, right? That could happen. Okay. But still you're not good. Then they're going to do like what, Uma was saying. We're going to terminate the employee, right? So these are all the things, we would learn in personal administration.
Personal administration is the same as personal development?
No, management. Personal management, this one. Right? You're managing him or her, right? You're managing everything,
The personal development includes like training and development?
Exactly. Okay. They'll give you a 6 months. January 1, no, not January 1, you will be sleeping after, 31st, all the fun you guys had. So January 2nd, if it is a Monday, what they're going to do is they're going to say, hey, for this year, or I'm giving January thinking that, the company's calendar year starts, or physical year starts from January. All right, so they're going to give you, okay, this is our whole plan for this year. Within 6 months, you have to take 3 trainings. You can use it online, or there are, in our company we have, other training, which is, you have to be like face-to-face training. So that's a part of your development, right? Correct? Or they'll say, hey, you are a payroll person. We want you to do FPC, Fundamental Payroll Certification. That's a part of your development, right? Another thing is, now you already completed FPC. Now they're telling, okay, you want to do, I want you guys to do your CPA. Or, some companies allow that. So these type of, things, I shouldn't say CPA, I say CPP, Certified Payroll Practitioner, okay? And the certified, the other one is for more accounting. Yeah. So like we are in this space, HR space, so let's keep it to CPP, okay? So they're going to say, okay, hey, you got to do this, right? That's a part of your development. Good? That's more into, the personal development. All right. What's the time now? 3 something? 3:28? Yes. Really? Oh my God. Time went fast, right?
Yeah.
You sure? No. Oh my goodness.
What time did you start?
2:40.
35 something? Yeah. And after that?
Okay. Yeah, so we'll wind it in next 15 minutes. Good. That'll be too much otherwise, right? You have to digest it. I'll have to give you some time to think. Do you want to take this, or you want to jump around something else, right? Think about it. There's no easy way to get successful. Work, 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 work.
Sorry, what about the medical indemnity, open enrollments and all the things comes
Payroll.
in the payroll?
Yeah, benefits. But I'll tell you the beauty right now is there are so many health providers. Give me one good example. Aetna, United Healthcare, right? Cigna. Yeah, I was thinking, what is mine? Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's mine. Okay. Sarita, what is your benefit vendor? Yeah, there is. That's called the Affordable Care Act. Don't worry, we'll refill it.
I'm really not aware about this all stuff. I have no insurance till now.
Okay.
No idea.
So you'll be good. You're exempted, right, from social and medical, you being a student?
Yeah.
Yeah, lucky. You make more money than me then.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarita, are you there or no?
Yeah, I'm here. I have
Okay.
this Horizon Blue Cross Healthcare.
Oh, good. That's the New Jersey one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. So those things, they will have an open enrollment. Okay. Not only that, 10 years later, no, let's not put 10 years. That's too much of a time. You got married after the 3rd year, you have a kid. What's happening now? There is a change, right? Right. There's a status change, right? So now you have to make your kid also dependent for you, right? So they're called benefit adjustments, reason adjustments, okay? So those things you have to add. So these things, because you work with the vendor, normally what SAP has the capability, but normally I've seen, because company don't want to take so much, liability in all these things, they just outsource it. So, like Mercer or United Healthcare, anyway, you're paying it to them. The broker is going to, so they'll sell flat dollar, $20 for employee, $50 for employee plus spouse, and if it's a family, 1 kid or 2 kid or a dozen of kids, it's going to be, $50 or $100. Well, 50 is not, it's like 200 or something now. So, but still not bad, So that all those things, they come at the end of the day, but these vendors, they'll send you all these communications. They'll tell, hey, we got this, you have to sign up for this before, November end or December 15th, right? And what they'll do is, once that happens, they'll tell you, okay, now for the new year, these are the new premiums that you pay. This is what the employer is going to take care, and you be happy. All right? Good so far? Any other questions? No? No news is good news, right? Yeah, you had a question for me? No. How about you on the phone?
Oh, no question.
Okay. So this is personal administration. We talked about organizational management, right? What did we talk about organizational management? The positions. You would be VP of blah, 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 blah. Or you could be, you are the VP, but you hold this job. It'll be a number, okay? Numerical number in it. And then there's 3 things: job, positions, and org unit, okay? So it's like this. Org unit is the higher level.
What is
Organizational unit. So I'll tell you, it's like a company is called an organization. So they divide it. Unit A is for finance. I'm just giving an example, okay? Unit B is all for payroll. Unit C is all for, what else do you say? Yeah, production, okay? Now, that's the organizational unit, right? Within the unit of payroll, my positions open are, payroll processor 1, payroll practitioner 2. What else? Payroll configuration analyst, director, then manager, these are all positions, right? But you would hold to some jobs, right? See, these are all positions. Now, within the position, I would be doing as an analyst job. You would also be doing the same analyst job. Maybe Uma will be doing, one level above, okay? So they're all spreaded into different jobs. So that's how the hierarchy goes. All right. Now then all this would, you would have to put it into something called like a cost center, or it could be also in SAP term, there are something called a personal area, sub area and all that. We'll come to that, little later. I don't want to load you today. So, so that's where the organizational management goes, basically jobs, position, how to create a job, how to create the org unit, or how to create a position. That's something you would learn here.
And the purpose for this is basically for authorizing approvals or anything down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, it's one for, like your approval. Two, every company has to have a very good, hierarchical structure. Yeah. And then I would say, Joel reports to a ABC. Hailey reports to XYZ. Umar reports to CDE. And Sarita reports to, someone else. Right? So all that, you get the whole tree actually.
The whole organization.
Yeah. Now see, whatever you learned is slowly, it's feeding into it, right? Yeah. Right. How about you, Sarita? Good?
Yes.
Okay. Now recruitment, what the term tells. Do you need another explanation on recruitment? No, right? Do you need?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Benefits, did we talk?
Yes.
We did, right? Yeah. It's like there are a lot of benefits, voluntary, involuntary. Voluntary is all what we said. Your medical, dental, blah, 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 blah. If you enroll, you got to pay. Involuntary, voluntary is not actually, involuntary is all this. Now, there are some good people who would say, I will pay every paycheck $2 to, for a charitable cause. United Way, good example, right? Or some people would be too good to say, I'll pay for, some other cause. So these are all involuntary. Your other things, your garnishment, you defaulted in your taxes, and the government is coming behind you, and they're going to say, I'm going to put a levy on you. You got to pay me this 10,000 that you owe within this, 6 years or 5 years. So then it's involuntary. We're going to pull it from the employee. So they are called, garnishments. Okay? You got to pay your taxes. That's another. Yes. Yep. We'll learn that. So each state, they're not only, federal tax levy is one type of, your garnishment type. There's so many others. Child support. Then your alimony, right? Bankruptcy, right? All this. See, now it's going like a bouncer, right? See, I know. Yeah, we'll learn it. Don't worry about it. Personal development, I've told you enough, I think now you can write a book on personal development. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. Time management, I've told you a lot. Yeah. Punching in, punching out, we say clock in, clock out, and then, you would be entitled, exactly. So, you're entitled for 80 hours of vacation, 40 hours of flex, 60 is too much. 20 hours of say 20 hours of sick. So these are all your absences, right? And there could be people that, and in SAP differentiate between two type of absences. It's called your negative recording or your positive recording. Any exceptions you make, like the day you took off when you were doing your HR MBA, that's an exception, right? It's called negative. Anything you do positive is like you record everything. 8 a.m. clocked in. 5 p.m. clocked out. 12 p.m. lunch break, meal break, let's say like that. 1 p.m. came back from meal. So those are, your, what do you say, for your, a positive type. Clock in, clock out, clock in, clock out. What happens is there's another, something like an interface that would process for you, give you, your actual times. So you work 8 hours on Monday, 8 hours on Tuesday, 8 hours on Wednesday, 4 hours on Thursday, and, you didn't work at all on Friday. You're physically there. Okay, so it takes, say, 40 hours, right, a week. So you got to pay 40 regular hours, right? Or you say you work 50 hours. You're a non-exempt employee. So I got to pay 40 hours of regular, the 10 hours of overtime, right? And then if overtime has, and you work on a Sunday, then people are saying, huh? Exactly. You work on Sunday, then the company is saying, hey, you work on a Sunday, you got to pay double pay. You're happy, right? You're getting more money. So, yeah. Yeah, so, hold on. My phone is ringing, I guess. Some companies do that. Well, it's all depend on, what the company structure is. Let's put it like that. But technically, if you're a non-exempt employee, they'll do all that. They'll take care of you. And we are SAP consultants, so they have to, All right. Payroll. You run your payroll. I ran the payroll. I think I missed, 5 hours or 10 hours. Oh, you had to get a bonus otherwise. So what I would do is, I would not wait till, next payroll processing. I will give an off-cycle payroll. Okay? So on-cycle is you have a schedule. You work from, okay, so there's a calendar that says January to, say, let's take monthly. For the whole month of Jan 1 to Jan 30, the whole 30 days is, say, Jan 31. The whole 1 month, this is your salary. Now, in addition, okay, so you get, say, 5,000 was your salary, okay? You get this whole 5,000. Now and this January payroll, say, is processed on the 20th of Jan. Now you came to month of February. February 1st, you realize for the month of January, you had to pay a new hire bonus of 20,000 to this employee. What will you do? You will not wait till February 16th to process it, right? It's an ad hoc situation, right? So what you will do then? You will run an ad hoc payroll for this guy, just for the 20,000. So it is little off from your regular cycle, right? That's why they termed it as off cycle, right? Rather than the normal on regular cycle, is slightly deviating to, to be good. Well, it's company policy, so, you are trying to accommodate it. And another good example, state of California, So you terminate an employee, he needs to get his check within 72 hours. That's the law, okay? Now, say, like your example, every 15th or 16th we cut the check, we process it. This guy was terminated, say, on Jan 28. We're not going to wait till February 16, right? We may cut a check. We got to cut it like, right? And the amount has to go to his bank, right? So there's a penalty pay, all right? Then, we'll be scratching our head. Oh my God, right? So the employee is going to call us, company is going to call us, everyone is going to call us, and we're like, oh my God, what to do, right? So what we do is, there is, rather than waiting till 16th of Feb, we would ad hocly go run a payroll, process it. That's called an off-cycle payroll. Good? All right. Some people have correction pay. But that is, you didn't account 5 hours of overtime or 10 hours of regular time. Or the manager forgot or he was late to approve his 15 hours of overtime. Now, they don't want to wait till next payroll. So what they do is, they'll schedule an off-cycle. Good enough? All righty. Or there can be one more situation. You are making stocks. Your company is giving you stocks. You exercise these stocks. Now your web broker may be Fidelity, as an example, or Smith Barney, whatever it is, or Morgan Stanley, whatever you want to take it. You don't execute these stocks in a payroll, right? You execute it in the stock market, right? You had 10 stocks, you bought it for $10. Now the stock has gone to $1,000. Now what do? You exercise the stock in the stock market, you sold your stocks, right? What there are two ways, right? Now one is you would use whatever the, you got your, you went ahead and exercised it. What you exercise, you may either do it in the tax year-end reporting, or there are company stocks. Now, when it is company stocks for the company that you work, you will they are saying, for this year, Haley has been good. We're giving you 50 free stocks. They're called restricted stock units, or they're stock units, stock options. We'll get all these, lingos and terminologies later. It's not really so important for today. So what's going to happen is, you exercise them, or when this company gives you, they'll only give you the stock, but you got to pay the tax. You will pay the tax. Some I've seen is, they'll pay it when during your year end, when you file your taxes, but the company will say, these are the taxes you owe. Yeah, so they will, oh, good example. I'll tell you another example. You got a Walmart gift card, $50. You get that $50, right?
Yes.
What some companies will do on the $50, there's a you got the $50, right? What they will do is, it's an earning to you. So company will have to report it, right? Then what they will do is, they're not going to take the tax on you. So what they will do is, they will report it for you. It's just outside your system. So any payments or anything you did outside, you would have to, report it for, we call it here as W-2, right? That's where our, all these dollars that we make go to. So that's where it is, So that's where you would do an outside transaction. Good so far? Okay. Third-party payments, like your tax liabilities, benefit liabilities, all those. Okay. That's the end of the slide, and that's where it is. Oh, I stopped correct 3:45. So I will give you 2 minutes. No, I'll give you 5 minutes. I'm going to stop this recording